Today we are discussing hemodialysis, which is actually a medical procedure that is undertaken to remove toxic nitrogen containing waste from the human body. Basically what happens is during the normal metabolic functioning of the body, a large number of toxic nitrogen containing waste like urea, uric acid, creatinine, hippuric acid, etc. they are formed in the blood and they need to be eliminated from the human body. Under normal circumstances, this function is undertaken by kidneys. They remove these nitrogen containing waste from the blood in the form of urine. And in conditions as in case of renal failure, we also call as kidney failure, the kidneys are rendered completely incapable to remove these toxic nitrogen containing waste. Under such circumstances, doctor most oftenly advises a patient to undergo a medical procedure called as dialysis. Dialysis actually works on the principle of diffusion. Let's take a quick look on an example. Let's consider this is the blood that contains toxic waste like urea, uric acid, creatinine, etc. and it needs to be purified. That means these toxic substances need to be eliminated from the body. What happens during dialysis is this blood is separated from another fluid called as dialysate by the help of a semi-permeable membrane. Dialysis is a fluid which is totally similar to that of blood, except that it does not contain any kind of waste in it. Rest, the osmotic pressure of both the substances is absolutely same. What happens is when the two solutions are separated by a semi-permeable membrane, these toxic substances migrate, they move from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration. This phenomenon is what we call as diffusion. Now, let's take a quick example. Let's say these substances are getting diffused from the blood into the dialysate and the process has taken place up to a condition where there is 50% of toxic substances in the blood and 50% have diffused into the dialysate. What will happen under such circumstances? It's natural that the process of diffusion will completely stop. Now, to ensure that the blood is 100% purified and the process of diffusion does not stop, we continuously change this dialysate so as to make sure that the concentration of the dialysate is always less than the concentration of the blood. This is the working model of dialysis. Basically what we do is the patient whose blood is to be purified, a small cut is made on the body of the patient, particularly the arm, to expose the two underlying blood vessels which are the artery and the vein. The blood is taken out from the artery and it's made to pass through a pump which serves two main purposes. First function is the pump maintains the flow of the blood into this entire machine. Second is it functions to lower the temperature of the blood up to 0 degrees Celsius. This stage is very important, that is the lowering of the temperature of blood, just to ensure that the blood is not attacked by pathogens as in bacteria, etc. Now, once the temperature of the blood is lowered, a substance called as heparin is introduced into the blood. Heparin is actually an anticoagulant which functions to prevent the blood from the clotting. Since the blood is taken out from the patient's body, it's very likely to get clotted. So, to prevent it from clotting, a substance called as heparin, which is anticoagulant, is added to the blood. Now, this blood is allowed to pass through this dialysis machine. Dialysis machine consists of long tubes which are made up of a semi-permeable membrane, most likely cellophane membrane. And this dialysis machine contains a fluid called as dialysate. We have already discussed that. Once the blood is flowing through this dialysate, the toxic nitrogenous wastes are continuously being diffused from blood into the dialysate, and the purified blood is then allowed to pass through a warmer which changes the temperature of the blood from 0 degrees back to the normal body temperature, that is 37 degrees. Also, this blood contains an extra heparin which has been added to it, and that needs to be nullified. This heparin, its effect is cancelled by adding an anti-heparin to the blood. Now, the blood which is totally purified is allowed to enter back into the patient's body via a vein. That was all about hemodialysis. Thank you so much for staying connected.